When the Compass facelift debuted in Europe last year during the lockdowns, we told you that the model that was headed to India was going to be significantly updated. That's exactly what has happened. The smart new face that you see here is that of the 2021 Jeep Compass. So let's take a closer look at what's changed. The face is inspired by the Jeep Wagoneer concept and makes the Compass appear bolder than before. The signature 7-slat grille is even more ornamental than before, while the headlights, though still inspired by Iron Man, now appear sleeker thanks to the simpler horizontal brow that they wear for the daytime running lights. Which look do you prefer, the new one or the older one? Let us know in the comments below. As a part of the 2021 update, there's also a new trim level. The Model S is what they're calling it. It sits above the Limited Plus, and that also gets you these LED projector beam lamps. Now, the spread and throw of the headlamps on the previous Compass is something that we really liked, and these work equally well, if not better. Other changes to the front end includes a split air dam, a reprofiled bumper, and a new prominent design for the fog lamps. The new blue color you see here looks nice, but I think I like the new bottle green a little bit more. The silhouette of the Compass remains unchanged, but there are new 18-inch alloys which look great. The rear wheel is still not aligned at the center of the wheel arch though. Changes to the tailgate aren't as prominent. The detailing of the taillights mimics that of the headlights, while the bumper design is tweaked slightly. Most of the changes, however, are on the inside, and it's all good news in here. You wanted a larger screen, it's there. You wanted connected tech, that is there too. You wanted better smartphone integration, you get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and the OS is an Android OS. So it's much easier to use, it's got a surprisingly slick interface, and because it's laid out like a smartphone, even your pet can use it. You still want more, don't you? Well, there is a wireless charger as well. You get a 360-degree camera, and my favorite, ventilated seats. The only downside is you have to control it all via the touchscreen. Now, all of this does come at a price as expected, and all of this, as expected, comes only in the top-end trim, which right now is the Model S. I'm sure you're still not satisfied, so Jeep has even thrown in a fully digital instrumentation which has 24 different screens to display the data. But I wish they had used the screen space better with a more intuitive layout. Speaking of space utilization, there's no change to the seating or to the boot space. But what I really like is the upholstery selection and the new layout for the dashboard. Now, the all-black cabin, that might seem a little bit tighter than what it is, but the panoramic roof certainly helps. The large windows, they help too. I like the overall materials used. They feel nice and premium. A few more textures definitely would have helped, but I'm not complaining. The overall fit and finish is really good. What I also like is this layered design and these sleek AC vents. I think they are very nicely integrated. They look really premium and smart. And despite their small size, they work just as efficiently as you would expect at this price point. They are complemented well by the new switchgear, which looks minimal and makes for lesser clutter. The rotary dial for the terrain modes has made way for a toggle switch, which is easy to use, but I prefer the previous one. The touchscreen controls most of the functions, and should its big size get too distracting for you, you can simply turn off the screen at the touch of a switch. I don't think the screen is too intrusive, and I also like the placement of the screen. It sits high up on the dashboard, so you don't have to take your eyes too far off the road to be able to use different functions. And because it's got a very dark layout to it, it's not too intrusive even at night. So you are not really going to be using the screen off functionality all that often, but it's a nice function to have. But just the way they have a hotkey for turning off the screen, I really wish that there was a shortcut or a hotkey even for the 360-degree camera or even for the ventilated seats. Going through a range of menus on this, well, I would have liked it to be a more easier, more intuitive layout for these kind of functions, especially when you're off the road. It's just easy for you to quickly turn on the 360-degree camera, and that would have really helped. The other thing I really wish for is having a full screen navigation on this digital instrumentation itself. Having that option would have really helped, especially because this is an expedition vehicle. And speaking of expeditions, Well, the four-wheel drivetrain is only available with the diesel automatic. You can't have it with the manual, and that is a bit of a downer. A bit of a downer because this automatic, this 9-speed automatic, though it has received a few tuning changes for this 2021 model, it is still largely similar to the model that we saw in the BS6 transition. So the problem is, though it is marginally quicker than the outgoing car because of this tuning, it still has that little problem. The problem that I've identified earlier as well. It just saps this engine of its enthusiasm. If you've driven the Compass manual with the diesel engine, you know that there is this surge of power and torque in the mid-range, and that is something that is very exciting. With the automatic, the gearbox has made sure that the engine performs in a more linear manner. And this is, in a way, a good thing for the commuters who are probably going to use the convenience of this gearbox in city or even on the highway. But for the enthusiasts out there, well, that punchy nature of the diesel manual is surely missed in this particular package. And like I said, if you want four-wheel drive, this is the only option that it is available with. One advantage of this gearbox has to be the kind of fuel efficiency it manages despite being an automatic. We've often heard that diesel automatics, especially in this category, are not that great on fuel economy, but this one is excellent. Now, out on the highway, if I'm cruising at 100 kilometers an hour, it needs a little over 1500 RPM. That is how relaxed this engine runs. So especially highway economy is excellent. So if you are going to be using this car for a lot of long distance travel, the diesel automatic will actually leave you impressed with the kind of fuel economy it offers. Jeep confirms that these changes to the powertrain and the enhancements have been made over time and not something that was specifically planned for this update. The diesel engine is still a bit noisy and yet one of the best in the segment. Though the updated model shows marginally better performance in our tests, my choice is still the Compass diesel manual for its punchier performance. As before, a supple ride quality over the harsh Indian roads and the taut handling around the bends remain some of the big talking points even for the new Compass. And for the expeditions, it also comes with the terrain system, which uses the traction control, ESP and the all-wheel drive systems to get you going on mild off-road trails, muddy pathways or rocky terrain. But if your expeditions are going to be a bit trickier and rockier than this, then waiting for the new Trailhawk till the third quarter of this year could make more sense. For the past couple of years, we had complained that the Compass had started becoming a faded memory with the new age competition taking limelight. But this one, it's like a mega Hollywood comeback. Jeep has thrown the kitchen sink at the Compass now. From the equipment to the build quality or from the way it looks to the way it performs. I think it is now a much better option, a much better alternative to the compact luxury crossovers out there. So if you've been waiting to get yourself a Compass, I think the best time is now.